Nishitarane. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for joining. So we were discussing the 11th chapter in the 6th canto, the transcendental qualities of Vritrasur. And we had finished until until the 18th verse, so just to do a quick recap of the flow, that the chapter begins with Vritrasur chastising the Devas for attacking the retreating Asuras from behind. He says it is adharmic, it's not the how Kshatriyas fight, because the Asuras, they became bewildered by Indra and his army, so they started running away from the battlefield. So first Vritrasur chastises the Asuras. So you should not turn your back. Even if you die, at least you'll get a glorious death. But they didn't listen to him, they ran away. And when they were running away, the Devas were attacking them from behind. So then he chastised the Devas that what kind of conduct is this, that you're attacking an enemy that is fleeing. Right? And then there is the battle between Vritrasur and the demigods, in which Vritrasur is seen to be just all by himself. He's like more than a match for Indra and the Devas. And then we see Vritrasur chastising Indra, right? And in the chastisement, we see that he's chastising for Indra for not killing him. Right? You see that Indra is hesitating. And we had this discussion of why Indra, even though he was given the Vajra by the instructions of Lord Vishnu and by the mercy of a Vaishnava, the Dachi Rishi, he still had more faith in his time-tested weapons. And he was using it, which Vritrasur was very easily, he was counteracting all of them. And Vritrasur said that to Indra, that don't be a fool. You have this weapon that you know will kill me, but you're not using it. Right? And the acharyas say that it's the nature of the jiva, that they tend to go with their immediate comfort. So because they have been living in the material conception for such a long time, when they're seeking happiness, they instinctively go to the material conception. Even though they have heard from the Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, that there is a much higher happiness that is available in spiritual pursuit. And even though when they have it in their hand, so Indra had the Vajra in his hand. And so even though the conditioned jivas have the holy name on their tongue, they have the Japmala in their hand, but when it comes to seeking happiness, they will instinctively go to what they are materially conditioned to. Okay. So he chastises them, and then we will see that the mood of Vritrasur turns to instruction. Right? And he starts instructing Indra on the principles of dharma. And so we'll resume from verse 19. Suresha kasman nahinoshi vajram purah sthiti varni mahe amogham ma sammisita nagadeva vajra Shanishphala krapnartheva yachana. O king of the demigods, since I, your enemy, am standing before you, why don't you hurl your thunderbolt at me? Although your attack upon me with your club was certainly useless, like a request of money from a miser, the thunderbolt you carry will not be useless. You need have no doubts about this. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he unfolds this in a conversation. Right? So Vritrasur says to Indra that just as you desire to live and enjoy the happiness of Swarga, I too desire to die and serve the lotus feet of the Lord of Vaikuntha. By killing me, both our desires will be fulfilled. So why do you hesitate? So Indra replies that my club and my other weapons have had no impact on you. What if the thunderbolt also is fruitless against your massive body? So this is Indra doubting the potency of the thunderbolt, right? So Vritrasur says the thunderbolt is amogham. It is infallible. It is never without results. Right? So then Indra is saying, maybe you are coaxing me to throw the thunderbolt so that you can capture it, just like my club, and use it against me. Right? So this is a so a devotee goes to preach to a person who is materially absorbed, and then the person says, maybe you have a hidden motive. Maybe you want me to chant Hare Krishna so that I become detached and you take my money. Or maybe you're just setting me up. That today you're saying all I want you to do is chant, and tomorrow you will say, I need more money from you. So this is Indra's, because he's materially absorbed, this is his mentality. That you are asking me to throw the thunderbolt for your own selfish benefit, because that's how Indra would have done. So there's that saying, right? That what is it? Manyate sarva jagat. That one considers the whole world to be like one's own self. So Indra would have done the same. So he's thinking that Vritrasura is also doing the same. Just like a materialist can never understand that somebody might do something for them selflessly. So I remember in Gita Nagari, once we had this, it was mostly informal, but something like appreciating other devotees. And and a lot of them were appreciating whoever got them to Krishna consciousness and the mentor. And one of the theme was that, one person came in and said he was in Chicago, and he was saying that, I was a student and Prabhuji Mataji came and they would get prasadam for me. And I was always scared of them. That, okay, today they came and gave me prasadam, tomorrow they will come and ask for money. And they came the next day, they got prasadam, and then I would be even more scared that now 2 weeks they have got me prasadam, now they will ask me for more money. And then he said I felt sick, and the Mataji was taking care of me, and then I was even more scared that now I'm even more obligated to them. And then he said I kept waiting, and they never asked me for anything. He said finally I went to them and I said, what can I do for you? And they said, you chant. He said, yeah, but what can I do for you? He said, you chant. So he said, then I had this aha moment that they actually did not want anything from me. Then he was actually crying when he said that, then all my barriers came down at that time, right? So a lot of time when devotees have experienced preaching to others, they initially encounter a lot of resistance, not because they're not attracted to Krishna, everybody's attracted to Krishna, but because they have this conditioning that whenever somebody does X for you, then they are going to expect 2X from you. So they keep saying, no, don't do it. So Indra has that mentality, right, which Vishnu Chakravarti is saying is that you're asking me to throw the thunderbolt. Ostensibly, you're saying that it will kill you and I'll win, but you definitely have an ulterior motive, which is like you want to capture the thunderbolt and throw it back at me. So then Vritrasur says that your throwing the club at me was like requesting money from a miser. Right. So Indra is saying, when I threw the club at you, you caught it and threw it back at me. So Vritrasur is saying that is useless. You're throwing the club at me because it is ineffective. You ask money from a miser, the miser will say no, no effect of asking money. But the thunderbolt is different. The thunderbolt is amog. It is infallible. So when I'm asking you to throw the thunderbolt at me, you cannot compare it with you throwing the club at me. Yeah. So uh, uh, sometimes when people are being preached to, they say, this is actually my own personal experience, that when the devotee was preaching to me, and at some point I started feeling that I'm taking a lot from him. 1 week they came with Mahaprasad. Next week they came books. Then they came with DT garlands. They read. And Indian mentality is, Brahmans, pujaris, you should not take anything, right? So then next time when they came, I had a check ready for them. I said, I'm happy that you're coming. Please take this. Right? They said no. We don't want it. And then by that time I was a little comfortable with them. And I said, you don't want my money, so what do you want? So this devotee says, I want your life. Right? And he says, money I can get from anywhere. And it was like, he was of course also laughing when he said it. But then later on, when we became more committed to it, he said, this is what I meant. If I had taken the check of whatever you have written, that would have been the end of our relationship. In your mind, you would have thought, I have gotten X dollars, I've returned X dollars, bus. Right? But now I have taken your life on behalf of Prabhupada. Right? So that's what you're indebted for. So Vritrasura is making that point, that you threw this club at me, it has no effect. It is completely material. There's no reciprocation. But I promise you, if you throw this thunderbolt, you will have my life. Right? So in this way, Vritrasura is encouraging Indra to have faith in the Lord. So all this thing is secondary. Throwing the thunderbolt, throwing this, killing and all that is secondary. But you see Vritrasura's mood as a devotee. He is looking at Indra as a person that is struggling with his spiritual life. And he's saying, you have faith in the word of the Lord. When you were standing in front of Lord Vishnu, he committed to you that this Vajra will kill me. Have faith in the Lord. That's the most important quality of a devotee. So Prabhupada writes that although Indra had doubts because he could not understand that Lord Vishnu's order never fails, Vritrasura understood Lord Vishnu's purpose. That's the mood of a devotee. Right? Like senior devotees in ISKCON, they understand the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Right? And they will work towards it. Maybe mysteriously, but they understand the mood. Later on, Prabhupada says that Vritrasura told Indra, if you want to kill me since I am your enemy, take this opportunity, kill me. You will gain victory and I shall go back to Godhead. Your deed will be equally beneficial for both of us. Do it immediately. So Vritrasura displays two qualities, faith in the Lord and eagerness. So Indra does not have faith in the Vajra. Even though the Lord personally assured him, he went to the Dichi, he saw the whole process firsthand. He's holding it in his hand, he does not have faith. Right? But Vritrasura, he has faith in the Lord. That's why he's saying that the Vajra is Ammo. The second quality is Utsaha, eagerness. And he's not thinking that, okay, today I will win, tomorrow I will die. Right? He says, I want to go back to Krishna right away. And he's encouraging Indra. Right? Somebody else might think that, yes, I do want to go back to Godhead, but let me beat up this Indra first. and then maybe I will rule over Swarga for some time, and then I will go back, right? But he's saying now, don't delay. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, it says, Agyascha Shratadanascha Sanshayatma Vinashati. Right? Agyascha Shratadanascha. So Krishna tells Arjun, Agyas, that ignorant and Ashraddhadanas, the doubting, cha Vinashati. Right? And amongst the two, he condemns the doubting more. Because the ignorant is innocent. They don't know what they don't know. But Ashraddhadanas means that they have the opportunity for Shraddha, but they negate it. Right? So Krishna says, Nayam, that nor in this life and nor in the next life will they achieve any happiness. And because essentially that's what you have, this life and next life, it means that as long as there is doubts, you will never have happiness. So Indra is Ashatadanas. Right? He has the Vajra in his hand, but he has no faith in the potency of Vajra. Okay? So we have the holy name on our tongue. We have the holy name in our hand when we chant, but we do not have faith in it. Right? Which is why we are not able to access the potency with it. But what will happen to Indra? That as he hears more from Nitrasur, he will develop faith in the potency of Vajra. So similarly, when devotees, as they hear more from advanced devotees, they begin to develop more faith in the potency of the chanting of the holy names. Right? So devotees may hold the japmala in their hand and they may repose their faith somewhere else. So look at the difference between Indra and Vritrasur. Indra has the Vajra in his hand. Vritrasur does not have the Vajra in his hand. Indra heard from Lord Vishnu saying that I am empowering this Vajra to kill Vritrasur. Vritrasur heard about it from somebody else. That somebody told him, somebody told somebody who told him, I hear that Lord Vishnu has heard this. But Vritrasur has complete faith. And Indra is full of doubt. Right? So sometimes priests, Brahman initiated priests, when they go to the altar, they start considering themselves to be very special because they're directly serving the deities. Right? They think, okay, yeah, everybody is there. Simply they're just able to look at the deity. I'm able to touch the deity. I'm able to take the dust of the lotus feet and put it on a hand, etc. But the fact is that if one who is standing and looking at the deity with faith will make much more advancement than one who has physical access to the deity. So it is not the touching of the deity that gives the potency, it is the faith in the deity that gives potency. Yeah. Things that are easily accessible are sometimes minimized. When somebody tells, what's the process of making advancement? And say, just chant Hare Krishna. Yeah, what else? No, just chant Hare Krishna. Right? Oh, yeah, everybody is chanting. What's the big deal about it? And so sometimes when people who are from caste Brahmins, they're used to a lot of rituals. Do this, do that, and perform this. And then you say, just chant Hare Krishna, right? And they will say, oh, but I chant these other mantras, and before the mantras, I perform this kind of mudras and achman, I take bath, and I sit field facing the east direction. I hold kushagras in my hand. So they have faith in all because it's difficult. It's hidden behind a lot of difficulty. But when you say nama khari bahudha nija sarvashakti tatrapita niyamate smarena nakala, right? Then they don't have faith in it. So Indra is holding the Vajra in his hand. It is easily accessible to him. So he says, it's there in my hand. What's the big deal? Vritrasur is seeing the Vajra from far away, but he has more faith in it. So it doesn't matter what's in your hand and what's away. Like two examples. Deities, the Pularis, they have physical access to the deities. But if they don't have faith, then not enough advancement. The converse is you have the Japmala in your hand. And if you don't have faith, then there is no benefit of it. So Vritrasur, he lacks purity. Right? Because he's in an Asuric body. He is Rajasic, Tamasic. Indra has purity. Right? He's a demigod. However, Vritrasur has faith and eagerness. Indra does not have that. Vritrasur will go back to Godhead, Indra will not. Which means that the modes have nothing to do with one's spiritual advancement. From an Asuric body, Vritrasur will achieve perfection. And from the body of a Sura, Indra will continue to be in the material world. Now, devotees are encouraged to be sattvic, but one must understand that it is a means to an end. Right? So, in the 10th canto, you see there is the Brahmans and the Dvijapatnis. The Brahmanas were sattvic, very strongly sattvic. All the mantras they were chanting, all the rules and regulations. Their wives, not so much. They did not chant the mantras, they did not know the Vedas, they did not have any gyan, wives. But who got Krishna? The Dvijapatnis. The wives got the mercy of Krishna. Right? So, not the mode of goodness, not the knowledge of the scriptures, not the chanting of mantras, but these two qualities that was displayed by Vritrasur, faith and eagerness. So when you see the pastime of the Dvijapatnis, you see these two qualities there. As soon as the boys said Krishna needs prasadam, eagerly they took everything, went to Krishna. For a while they were scared, will our husbands chastise them, but they had faith that Krishna, service to Krishna, supersedes the service to the husband, and they got the mercy of the Lord. Another example is Prithu Maharaj and Rishabdev. Right? Rishabdev, he was the mystic powers wanted to serve Rishabdev by basically bestowing mystic powers on him. Right? And Rishabdev said no, because I can't trust my mind. If I take these mystic powers, I might get proud of these mystic powers. When Prithu Maharaj was in the maturity of his life, he gladly accepted the mystic power. So his mystic power was dying at will. Both of them had the same destination. Both of them pure devotees. Both of them Shakti Veshavatars of the Lord. Both of them went back to the spiritual world. Right? So the point is that neither accepting nor rejecting material things has any impact on devotional service. Right? So one should not reject everything, saying my bhakti will become stronger. One should not accept everything, thinking my bhakti will become stronger. Prithu Maharaj accepted it because he wanted to use the mystic power of leaving the body at will. Rishi Maharaj rejected it because he did not want the mystic powers to cloud his intelligence. Right? So, like Lord Shiva, he may not have the purity of body. Like he lives in a crematorium, smears ashes on it, hangs out with ghosts and all that. Brahma, pure body, right? Very, very pristine. Right? However, in the Hamsa Vahan pastime, right, this is when Lord Shiva was eager to hear Gaur Katha. Then he was rushing to Navdeep, right? Actually to Madhyadeep, to hear the pastimes. Sutta Goswami was going to sit and talk about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, and then his carrier was going slow. So he goes to Brahma and says, my Nandi is going slow, I need your swan. And Brahma says, why? And she said, because the pastimes of Mahaprabhu are being said, I want to go there immediately. And Brahma says, okay, take my swan. Now Brahma didn't say, I'll also go along with you, right? Because he didn't have that eagerness. So even though Lord Shiva is considered to be associating with the modes of ignorance, his eagerness to listen to the pastimes is much, much superior, which is why he is considered to be the highest of the Vaishnavas, right? Lord Brahma's name is not taken over there. When the name of the Vaishnavams, but that Lord Shiva's name is taken over there. And this is more of a, I guess it's a funny story, that once there was a bar that opened in front of the church, right? And the priests were very upset about it because bar people would come, drink day and night. There were all kinds of unsavory characters. So then they started, the priest, as part of their daily prayers, they started praying, may this, O Lord, close this bar down, right? And the bar owners, they came to know of this. And they said, let them pray. Let this priest pray for whatever they want. Right? So one day it so happened that there was a fire and the bar burned down. So the owners of the bar, they filed a lawsuit against the church, saying that because you were praying to the Lord, you caused the bar to be burned down. And then the church responded, saying that we have nothing to do with this. You can't hold us responsible. So when the judge was reviewing the case, then he observed that the people in the bar, they have more faith in the power of the Lord, the power of the prayers, right? And the people in the church, they had very little power because the church goers were saying, no, even though we were praying, we have nothing to do, or the Lord has nothing to do. And even though people in the bar, they were not praying, they were convinced that it is by the power of the prayers that our bar burned down. So this is obviously not a factual incident. This is often quoted by Christians in their sermons to show that faith can come anywhere. It can be more powerfully appearing in the bar, in the place of intoxication, and it may be weaker in the church where their focus is so much on the Lord. Right? So this particular verse is very, very instructive in the side-by-side comparison of one who can make advancement and one who cannot. Okay, let's move on to the next verse, 20. Nanvesha vajrastava shakratejasha harer tapasa cha tejata tenev shatrum jahi vishnu yantrito yato harir vijaya shri gunastataha. O Indra, king of heaven, the thunderbolt you carry to kill me has been empowered by the prowess of Lord Vishnu and the strength of the Dichi's austerities. Since you have come here to kill me in accordance with Lord Vishnu's orders, there is no doubt that I shall be killed by the release of your thunderbolt. Lord Vishnu has sided with you. Therefore, your victory, opulence, and all good qualities are assured. So Vritrasur is appreciating the potency of the Vajra, that it has been empowered by the Lord and strengthened by the Dichi's austerities. He's saying that this Vajra has the power to free me from this material existence and take me back to the spiritual world. Right? So this is also the potency of the process, that when the devotee invests his austerities in accordance to the desires of the Lord, the process becomes invincible. Right? So it's not, so if you look at it, Vritrasur, what is his claim to going back to the spiritual world? The Vajra. Okay. Where does the power of Vajra come? Two places. the Lord and his devotee. So Dadichi, he gave up his body, which was purified by the chanting of the Narayan Kavach, and the Lord who personally empowered it. Right? That's the only faith that Vritrasur has. That this Vajra has the empowerment of the Lord and it has the mercy of the Lord's devotee. That is all that I need to go back to Godhead. Right? He says there is no doubt that I shall be killed by the release of the thunderbolt. So externally it may seem that Lord Vishnu is favoring Indra. And Prabhupada says that by killing Vritrasur, Indra would not actually gain. He would remain in the material world. Vritrasur, however, would go to the spiritual world. Therefore, victory was destined for Vritrasur, not for Indra. And why was it destined for Vritrasur? Because he had faith. Indra had doubts. So that is why victory was not destined for Indra. Vritrasur had faith. And he had faith in the process. So the Lord personally did not come to kill Vritrasur. But the Lord gave Indra a process to kill Vritrasur. Go to Dadichi, get his bones, then go to Vishwakarma, make the Vajra, and then kill him. Right? The Lord gave him a process, but then he says that I empower this process to be invincible. Vritrasur had faith in that process. And that is the process of bhakti. Like everybody should not say that why doesn't the Lord come in front of me and take me back? Because more than the Lord coming in front of us, he has given us the process. He has given us the process that he has empowered, and he has given us the process that is further embellished by the devotee. Right? We get the process of bhakti from the Lord, and it is administered to us by gurus and Vaishnavas. Just like Vritrasur, Dadichi and the Lord. They're working hand in hand to deliver Vritrasur. Now both Dadichi is absent, the Lord is absent. What is present in the battlefield? The process, the Vajra. And Vritrasur has complete faith in the process, which is why Srila Prabhupada says he will be the one who will win, not Indra. So Indra's victory is relative, right? It's public. Like he will walk away from the battlefield, all the demigods will shower flowers on him, the sadhus will glorify him, Jai Indra, right? Public victory. Vritrasur victory is absolute, but it is private, right? So private victory happens when the person gives all credits to others, like Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, right? So externally, there may be no victory, but it's a private victory because the person is actually not interested in being glorified for victory. It's not that person says, okay, now I'm going back to Godhead and everybody has to throw flowers at me, etc. You see great Vaishnavas, very, very simply, almost like mundane, they leave the body. That's their public persona. Privately, they have achieved the highest victory. And that victory, they don't take credit for. By the mercy of my Guru, by the mercy of Krishna. So like in Ramayana, you see that when Jatayu and Ravan fought, then Ravan defeated Jatayu mortally, right? Jatayu knew that he was going to die. But actually, it was Jatayu who won. Because Lord Ram gave him the benediction of back to Godhead. Public defeat, private victory. Similarly, we see that when Indra was trying to stop the 100th yajna of Prithu Maharaj, then Indra won, right? He kept stealing the horse over and over again, and finally Brahma said, stop it now. Let Indra be the victor. And Prithu Maharaj said, okay. So publicly, Indra won, but privately, Prithu Maharaj won. Why? Because it is said he actually did perform the 100th yajna. He did not sacrifice the horse. He sacrificed his false ego. He sacrificed his pride. And the Lord was much more pleased there than other 99 yajnas he performed, right? And he gave him the mercy, right? So we see that mood of Vritrasur. Okay, verse 21. Aham samadhaya mano yatahanaha sankashanastacharanaravinde Twadvajramho lulit gramya pasho gati muneryamya apavidhalokaha. By the force of your thunderbolt, I shall be freed of material bondage and shall give up this body and this world of material desires. Fixing my mind upon the lotus feet of Lord Sankarshan, I shall attain the destination of great sages as Narad Muni, just as Lord Sankarshan has said. Right? So we see the transparency of a devotee. Now, Vritrasur was so long encouraging Indra to throw the thunderbolt so that he wins. He's convincing. This thunderbolt will kill me, throw it. Now Indra might think, what is Vritrasur's angle? Vritrasur is coming clean over here. He's saying, when you throw the thunderbolt at me, I'll go back to Godhead. So he's not hiding anything. Like he's not saying that when you throw it to me and as a service to you, I'll give up my body, or out of fear, I'll give my body. Completely transparent. A mood of a devotee. Like no duplicity. That you throw a thunderbolt at me, you will win because you are a materialistic person. Your material desires will be fulfilled. I will win because I'm a spiritual person. And I will go back to Godhead. Right? So he is also reassuring Indra. Right? Indra is thinking that that maybe Vritrasur is convincing me to throw the Vajra so that he can steal it and throw it back at me, just like he did with my club. So Vritrasur is saying that I have no desire to steal your Vajra. Why? Because when your Vajra hits me, I will be actually benefiting more from it. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur say that Vritrasur is saying, I've been personally instructed by Lord Sankarshan in focusing my mind on his lotus feet. So this will come later on when we look at the life of Chitraketu. We will see his connection with Lord Sankarshan, right? But here he's simply making this point. Right? So once again, this is like Atmavat Manyate Jagat, right? That one thinks entire world like themselves. So when devotees are distributing bhakti, the others will respond with suspicion or fear of exploitation. So when Srila Prabhupada was once preaching, and then he could see that there was a lot of, there were people who were looking at him suspiciously, and then he folded his hands, and then he said with a lot of conviction and humility, he says, please understand, I have not come to cheat you. And because people are so much set in that way, that what's the angle of this person? And if the angle is not in accordance with their understanding, they think there's a deeper angle. Like somebody tries to sell you, give me money and I'll sell you this. The angle is transparent. This person wants my money, he wants to sell you. We're comfortable with that. Some person comes to me and says, take it, but I don't want your money. Right? Then the angle is not clear. What will happen? What will you do later on? So when Prabhupada would give free food, come and take, love feast, wonderful instructions, complete love and care. People were like, what does he want? Prabhupada says, please understand, I have not come to cheat you. Right? So Indra was an expert in manipulating others to take advantage. That is Indra's job description. Right? He is he has to play politics. He deals with powerful personalities. Some of them he has to appear like he's obsequious. Some of them he has to scare. That's the world that he lives in the world of politics. And that's what he knows. So when he's looking at Vritrasur, he's looking at it from the same angle. What is the politics that Vritrasur is playing? Vritrasur, he has no experience with this politics, but he recognizes it. So that's why he says that I'm not playing politics. I also have a clear motivation in being killed. I'll go back to God. Right now Indra is immediately he's appeased. He says, aha, this person also is standing to benefit from this transaction. That is a transaction that he understands. Both of us will benefit. We may benefit in different ways, but both of us will benefit, right? So Vritrasura as an expert preacher is now coming down to the level of Indra and saying that this is a transaction. You benefit and I benefit. But also in the mood of a preacher, he's not lying. He's saying, I will benefit in this way and you will benefit in that way. Okay, verse 22. Om Sham Kilekant Dhyam Swakana Ya Sampado Divi Bhuma Rasaya Narati Advesh Udvegadhe Madha Kali Vyasanam Samprayasha. Persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of his lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as his own personal assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulences of upper, lower, and middle planetary system of this material world. When one possesses material opulence in any of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Thus, one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. So, after hearing the previous verse, Indra at one point may be appeased. Like there's a transaction over here. I'm benefiting and Vitrasur is benefiting, right? But factually speaking, what happens in negotiations? That when you're negotiating, then one always thinks that maybe the other person is benefiting more than I am. Maybe there is a hidden agenda over here that I'm not aware of. That's a material way of thinking. And you go to a shop, person says this is for $100. You say no, 50. And he says, okay, 60, 70. And the person says, okay, I'm making a loss. I will give it to you for $50. And then you take it and then you leave the shop and then you think maybe it was actually worth $25. Maybe that guy cheated me. Right? So initially the shopkeeper may convince you. Like sometimes they'll say that you are my first customer. I want this transaction to be auspicious. Or he will say that I badly need this sale, so take the money. Right? Sometimes he'll say things like that, and the person will buy it saying that looks like I made a good deal. Circumstantially, you have to give it to me at a loss. You buy it and you're on your way back, and then you say, really? Did I actually get a good deal? He seemed too quick to give it to me for $50. Maybe it was worth $25. Right? So this is the materialistic mentality. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that Indra, after initially hearing when Vritrasur says that the Vajra will kill me and I'll go back to Godhead, may now think that the reason that Vritrasur is Sankarshanas Tat Charanar Vinde. Right. So he says that Lord Sankarshan, I'm doing this to please Lord Sankarshan, like Sharanar Vinde, that to take shelter of the lotus feet of Sankarshan. So Indra might think, what if Lord Sankarshan gives him the position of Indra? Because Lord Sankarshan is all powerful. And Vitrasur is telling me that by being killed by the Vajra, he will get the mercy of Sankarshan. Now, Indra knows things in material realm only, right? So how will that mercy manifest? Lord Sankarshan is all powerful. They will say, okay, let's get rid of this Indra person. You become Indra. So in order to address this implicit doubt in Indra, Vritrasur, he speaks this verse, right? And it's a powerful verse. There are many points that are buried into this verse. So first is that different kinds of people surrender to the Lord with different motivations. Some of them, they surrender to the Lord for material benefits, and some of them for spiritual benefits. And the nature of the Lord is that he reciprocates according to the mood with which the person is approaching. So those who approach him with bhakti, they have no desires for material opulences, and the Lord does not award them material opulences. Right? So Vritrasura is making this point, you should not worry that Lord Sankarshan will give me your position, because I am not approaching Lord Sankarshan with material desires. And the nature of the Lord is that he reciprocates according to the desires of the devotee. So since I am approaching him with desires to be with him in his own spiritual abode, that's what the Lord will award me. Now Indra might say that that's not really possible. How can one approach the Lord and not desire material opulences? That is Indra's world, right? So he thinks like, that's what I approach the Lord every time. That return my swarga to me, vanquish my enemies. So how is it possible that one can approach the Lord without material desires? So this verse talks about the prisoners of success. Right? So getting opulence is a very, very small part. A lot more difficult is to maintain the opulence. Right? So the example of a king had a minister, and the minister was very wealthy. So much so that the king became envious of the minister, that this minister is so wealthy. So the king gifted him a white elephant and said that you take good care of him, otherwise I'll beat you up. Now for the white elephant, the person had to, the person initially was proud. I'm the only person in this whole kingdom that has a white elephant. But then to take care of the white elephant, special food, special oil, so much so that man became completely bankrupt. Right? So the nature of success is, and that's what Vitrasu speaks over here, that it attracts dvesha. Right? He says it attracts envy from others who do not have that success, or who have it and do not want others to compete with them. Then udvega. Udvega means anxiety. Anxiety about what happens if somebody takes my success away. It's that anxiety of constantly having to protect that success. Then he says adihi. So adihi means mental agitation. So that's the nature of success. That when you get success, you're always looking at friends and enemies. Your mind is always agitated. Is the person coming to steal my success? Is the circumstances coming by which I can grow my success, or adi, mental agitation? Then of course with success comes pride, mother, right? And then Vritrasur says, Kalihi. Kali means quarrel, age of Kali, right? He says Kali, quarrel. No? And then Vyasanam. Vyasanam is distress due to loss. Because success is there, today is there, tomorrow it's not there. And then Samprayasha. So Samprayasha is great endeavor. Like, so if you are holding a pebble afloat, it takes a little bit of endeavor. If you take a big rock, lot of endeavor to keep it up. So the bigger the success is, the more the endeavor is. Right? So this is the difference Vritrasura is saying between you and me. I look upon success as this. I look upon success as producing dvesha, udveg, adi, mada, kali, vyasana, samprayasha. All bad things are coming out of material success. You look upon success as the ultimate goal of life. So there is no competition between the two of us. Competition happens when two people are going after the same goal. Like there is one banana and the two people are after that same banana. One will get it, one will not. That's competition. But if one person is going after an apple, the other person going after banana, there is no competition there. So Vritrasura is saying between you and I, there is no competition. Don't think that if I get the lotus feet of Lord Sankarshan, I will ask for him your position. Right? Because I don't care. And Indra is actually testimony to that. What does success give? Like Indra is the chief of the devas, right? The most powerful living entity, and he's standing there, full of anxiety, mental agitation, ready to fight, envy towards Vritrasura. All that Vritrasura is saying that success gets to you, Indra is displaying those qualities. Right? So Vritrasura is saying, why should I be like you? Look at yourself. Do you really think I want to be like you? No. When you kill me, you will get what you want, which comes with all this, which you like. Dvesha and Mada and Kali. Me, I will get the lotus feet of the Lord. In the 6th canto, 9th chapter, when Pusta had chanted the mantras to invoke Vritrasur, then he had chanted Indra Shatru Vivritaseva. And because Shatrum, slight mispronunciation, instead of saying, O enemy of Indra, flourish, he said, O enemy, comma, Indra, flourish. Right. So his intent was to saying that, O enemy of Indra, the one that is going to be created from this yajna, be victorious. But because of this mispronunciation, he said, O Indra, my enemy, you flourish. And we see that Vritrasur is honoring the Yagyavakya of his father. Right? The Yagyavakya was, even though it was an accident, but that was the Yagyavakya. That Indra should flourish. And Vritrasur is honoring that. He is saying that you flourish. See how he's giving him all the instructions, throw the this and that, get your heavenly kingdom. This is what you want, and this is what I want you to have. Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he says that the Lord was actually more favorable to Vritrasur, because after being killed by Indra's thunderbolt, Vritrasur will go back to Godhead, whereas the victorious Indra would rot in the material world. Then Prabhupada says both of them are devotees. So the Lord awarded them the respective benedictions. Indra wanted material benedictions, the Lord gave him that. Vritrasur wanted spiritual benedictions, the Lord gave them that. So when Srila Prabhupada would go for the morning walk, and his disciples, it was kind of a ritual that disciples would go along with them, and Prabhupada would encourage, ask questions, he would give answer. So once a particular disciple, he walked with Prabhupada the entire walk. He did not ask any questions. And when Prabhupada, the walk finished, Prabhupada was ready to get into the car, then he blocked Prabhupada. He came between Prabhupada and the car, and very intensely he says that, Prabhupada, what does it take to become Krishna conscious? Prabhupada gave a one-word answer and then got into the car and went away. Right? So Prabhupada said, the one word that he said was desire. Right? So when we chant, we may perform the act of asking for service, but we do not have the desire to get any service. Difference between external and internal. That externally we are saying, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then we are saying, oh, energy of Krishna, oh, Srimati Radharani, please engage us in the service of Krishna. Right? That's what we are asking. But what are we desiring? We are desiring no service to Krishna. So only when the desires and the acts align, they become effective. Vritrasur had the desire to serve the Lord. Right? In order to fulfill the desire, he is taking on the body and the mood and the actions of an asura. Right? So for Vritrasur, his desire and his activities are aligned. Indra is surrendered to the Lord. He's going and praying to him, glorifying them. The act is there, but the desire is not there. Indra's desire is, may I get my heavenly kingdom back. Right? So Prabhupada says that a devotee sometimes needs some material possessions for preaching, but the possessions of a preacher are not like those of a karmi. A karmi's possessions are achieved as a result of karma, but those of a devotee are arranged by the Lord to facilitate his devotional activities. Because the devotee never uses material possessions for anything other than the service of the Lord. Okay, so let me stop over here and see if there's any discussions.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you. I think it's very deep, this discussion today, and how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has broken it into a conversation. I'm just appreciating the way also you explain it. It's very, very deep what you said today. It's, the intention, and then last that you summarize about the desire. Prabhupada said the desire. And actually the winner is Virvathasura, not Indra. Thank you, Prabhu. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so we'll stop over here. Thank you so much for your attention. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.